Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Kiera Jones and welcome to the Jones Girl Live. As you can see, I am not wearing any makeup today, but I'm getting ready to do my makeup. I had a horrible breakout like over the past couple of days, probably because I keep touching my face, and you can see like just a horrible breakout, and then I ran out of my little turmeric soap scrub that helps even my skin tone. But even with all of that, I am going to be trying a new makeup. Like, I don't know why I would do that during this time while I'm trying to get my skin straight, but whatever, I'm just going to do it because I need something creative to indulge in right now. But while I'm doing that, I am going to just kind of be talking about what's on my heart and growing up black in my house. My experience, you know, growing up is a lot different from a lot of people's experiences, but we still endured, you know, racism and different things like that. So I'm actually going to be sharing one of my childhood stories and something that I learned about racism, about classism, about systemic racism from like a very early age. All right, so I'm actually working on a book called Style Stories and Life Lessons. That's going to be coming out really soon. We're actually going through the first rounds of edits soon, and I'm going to be sharing like personal stories about my life and the lessons that I learned and everything. And so, you know, the photo shoots and everything have already been shot for it. So yeah, so I'm really excited about that, and really would love for you to get a copy when I finally finish with it. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna be trying this new makeup while I'm talking to y'all. It's the Il Maquillage. I got it from you know you've probably saw the ads on Facebook, so I wanted to try it out and see, you know, if it was, you know, worth all the internet hype, you know, whatever. So we're gonna try the Il Maquillage. So I've already moisturized my face and did all the prep. I didn't do any what's the stuff called, I forgot. I'm kind of like running a blank on that, but I didn't put, I just have moisturized and wash my face and everything like that. So I'm gonna try this, and I'm just gonna be doing my makeup while I'm talking to y'all. But it was an interesting story. We've had a lot of like things happening around the world. I truly believe that the world is changing and everything is shifting, especially since the death of George Floyd. This has been an answer to my prayers, as far as seeing the world change and people really taking notice, because sometimes as an African American in America, and being a Christian African American, you can feel that you are not heard. So like really feeling like, okay, yeah, people are finally, you know, getting it. I'm looking for my spray, y'all. I thought I brought it in here, but I must have didn't. I don't know what I did with it, but that's all right. We're gonna keep going. So when I was younger, my dad used to own this business, a pool business. So my dad made swimming pools for a living. He was a swimming pool contractor. He would do like marsh siding and redesign, putting the towel and stuff in, you know, for, you know, the business. I'm not doing like a heavy face. I just want to really try out this foundation, because I'm in no way a guru, and I should have put color corrector on, but I don't feel like doing all that today, because I'm not going nowhere after this. But yeah, so my dad owned a pool business growing up, and my dad was a very successful businessman. And you know, we lived like, we were kind of like the Cosbys, you know, middle class family. You know, dad made, you know, 6 figures. You know, daddy was, you know, back then, I'm an 80s baby, so you know, for my daddy to make that kind of money back then, you know, it was pretty good, you know. So a bigger company would contract my dad's smaller company for their, you know, to do pool work or whatever. They would send him out, hire his company to go out and do like swimming pools. My dad did pools for people like Dan Marino. He would go out to like Star Island in Miami and do the people's swimming pools, whatever. So daddy was doing really good, and daddy had a whole like several crews of employment. So, you know, daddy did real good. So they would have their annual picnic. Like the company that he would contract for would have their little business picnic. And I remember Daddy used to tell us, and we would laugh because we thought it was like a game, like some type of joke. You know, we had rules. We could not wear new clothes. You had to wear like messed up clothes. And they would like inspect us and be like, okay, no, those shoes are too new. But then my play shoes, no, don't wear that. Put these shoes on. And I remember the year we had to borrow a car because all of our cars was new. Like we had a new van, a new like Cadillac or whatever. So we couldn't even drive any of our cars to the picnic. We had to borrow one of my dad's family members' cars. And so my dad was just like, you know, because sometimes people are all right with you doing okay, but if they ever feel like you doing as good as them, they'll throw a wrench in the game. So, you know, I'm in elementary school at the time, so I'm like, okay, I get to play dress down or whatever, because my mama really didn't play about, you know, our clothes and all that stuff, whatever. My mama was like always dressed up or whatever. So we went to the thing, and Daddy even told us, don't, you know, try not to speak too proper. It's crazy, but this is what he sees. Like, don't tell them too much about yourself, your activities. Just trying to kind of go out and play. Don't use as much proper English. And you know, so we're laughing and we're thinking that this is funny, but not realizing this is Dad trying to survive. Like, no, I don't want, you know, I don't want these people to mess up my business. So we get there. And I remember my brother's a singer, so they would have my brothers sing. You know, got to get out there and shuck and jive, you know, get out there and sing, and so people can be so impressed, you know. And so my sister was just telling me the story yesterday, and she said, I remember that picnic. She said, I remember that. She said, I actually went out to play basketball. I was out there playing basketball. My sister's an amazing athlete. Like, she would take all the dudes in the hood and just murder them. Okay, so she was out there playing with the guys on the basketball court, and she's killing them. And one of the men said, and he's a white, this is a white company, white guy comes over to my dad and say, man, Clarence, you might be able to do something with that one. And so my mom was standing there, and if anybody know my mama wasn't no joke. My mama wasn't the one to be playing with. Okay, and so she gave this look like dude about to get the business. And so my daddy gave her this look like no. And he was like, yeah, she's gonna be amazing, she's gonna be awesome, you know. And so my mama, you know, so that was like my dad like kind of like changing, yeah, they're gonna be awesome, man, they're gonna be awesome or whatever. And so we go home, we pass the test, we get out of there, whatever. And so later on, we moved to out of the neighborhood. Now I grew up in a mixed neighborhood in Deerfield Beach, nice neighborhood, you know. But when I got to high school, my parents moved to the suburbs, moved to like a gated community in Coral Springs. And so my dad would go to work, and so, you know, he's working with marcite and cement and all that stuff every day. And so, you know, he was used to coming home. You know, when we lived in Deerfield, Daddy would come home in his work clothes. You know, he would come home with his cement boots and his cement clothes or whatever. But when he moved to Coral Springs, it became that Daddy would go and take clothes with him in his truck, and he would change clothes in his truck before he came home. Like he would get, you know, he didn't want even the neighbors to get too much into his life. So he was like, he would just go change clothes and go home. And so one day, one of the guys who had hired him, like the contractor, the main business that contracted my dad's business, they would ask my dad, you know, because my dad would always go to their office to pick up his check or to do whatever. And they wanted to know, they were like, oh, we're going to come by your house. And so my dad was like, well, nah, I'll just come pick it up. So one day, one of the men followed my father home and saw my dad pull up in a gated community. And shortly after that, my dad lost that contract. My dad had been in business with them people for nearly 20 years, and he lost the contract just like that when they found that he was living as good as they were. And so these are the things. And in 1 year, my daddy went from making nearly $250,000 a year. In 1 year now, his salary, because the contracts that he had, maybe 90% of his contracts was contracts with that company. He made he went from about $250,000 that year to $11,000 because they found out that he was doing just a little bit too well. He was doing just as good as them. He was living in the same neighborhoods as them, and they didn't like it. And so as a result, you know, my dad ended up having to, you know, he tried to hold on to the business and but it was, by that time, it was just kind of like late. And so he had to shut the business down. And so this is what happened to my father. You know, so when people talk about, oh, you know, Jim Crow or whatever, my parents are children of segregation. Like they grew up in a segregated South. They were in school when they were integrating the schools. And so when you're talking about things so long ago, that's not so long ago, because that was fresh to my parents. You know, these are things that they still recall. My parents, they're both passed away now, but my parents died when they were very young. My dad died when he was 52. My mom died when she was 60. My mom died, October will be 3 years since my mom passed away. And so this year's 10 years since my dad passed away. So it wasn't something that was like so far removed, because one of the things that I love the way my mom did, every single year, Black History Month, my mom made us watch Eyes on the Prize. If you have never seen the documentary series of Eyes on the Prize, I feel like every single African-American person, every person, if you're trying to learn about, you know, the history of these things, Eyes on the Prize would be a great go-to bit of material to watch. And so my mom would make us watch Eyes on the Prize every year, because she said, if you don't know where you've come from, you are bound to return. If you don't know where you come from, you are bound, like if you don't know what you've overcome, you're bound to return. You're going to repeat that cycle. So you need to see all of the things that people had to do so you can have the right to vote. So don't be disrespectful and not vote. You know, I need you to see what, for every single issue, the fact that you are able to sit in an integrated classroom. You sit in a classroom, you get to ride on a bus with people who are not of your same race. She said, do you know it was illegal to ride, you know, on a bus? You know, and then when you did ride on the bus, you had to sit in the back of the bus for the local bus system, but then you couldn't cross state lines at all if there was somebody of a different race than you. That was the interstate travel and the freedom riders who boycotted, and these people, white and black, beat up, bombed, dragged. So my mom wanted to make sure that we knew all of the sacrifices that people made so that we can live even in this society in what we considered a better position, like a better position. But even now, you know, looking at it, it was like, you know, even though it wasn't, you know, they had to change the law about the interstate travel. They had to change the law about the right to vote. We had to change the law about this. And every single thing was a fight. How do you call the National Guard to escort a kindergartner? Ruby Bridges. Because everything was a fight. And so my parents kept that kind of instilled in us for us to appreciate our history, and like, okay, if you're going to do something, you have to be not just good, but you got to be the best, just so you can get half of the opportunity that the person next to you, you know, your white counterpart has. You know what I'm saying? So that's what growing up black was for me. My parents, you know, worked really hard. They were very good people. And then I was raised in a Christian household. Most black people are raised in a Christian household, and my parents were very devout in their belief. And so we were raised believing in the Word of God. Still believe wholeheartedly in the Word of God. I believe in prayer. I believe that prayer brought us to this point. And so I hear a lot of people making comments about, oh, all you do is, you know, all y'all gonna do is pray. No, prayer is a part of it. Prayer's a part of, don't let prayer be the only thing you do, because once you say amen, there are some subsequent actions that have to follow you after you pray. Okay, so that's so don't get this go like, all people do is pray. No, prayer is the most fundamental and most powerful thing, and most effective thing that you can do. But once you hear from God in prayer about what's the next step, get up and do the next step, you know, so you can hear from him about, you know, to discern the time and the season and know what's coming up next. So don't discount and don't make it seem like, oh, prayer doesn't work. No. People have been praying for years for what you're seeing right now. People have been praying for the change. People have been praying for the turning of the tide for a long time. Okay, so don't discount that. But that was like one of the stories. And what I learned from my dad and my mom, you know, they were such resilient people. They knew how to outsmart the system that they were in. They did what they had to do. You know, my dad was very, you know, I got to take care of my children. I got to do what I got to do so I can take care of my wife and my children. And so we always had the best of everything because daddy worked hard. My mama worked hard. My mom went back to college when after she had all her kids, you know, and it took her 8 years to get her degree because she was still an active, you know, she was still PTA president. She still Booster Club president, and she was still working. You know, she would work at our schools. She was a substitute teacher, and then she was a seamstress and all of these things in order to, and she just fought so hard because she had a dream. She always wanted to get her degree, so she did. She got her degree. She went and became a teacher. My mom taught for 20 some odd years in the public school system, and so, you know, I'm very proud of what my parents were able to accomplish, even under Jim Crow, even under segregation, even under discrimination that they still experienced, you know, even throughout our lives. So that's one of the things, one of my style stories, life lessons that I got from my amazing parents. May they both rest in peace. And I've been sitting here talking and I ain't even finished my makeup, child. Cause I'm feeling a little, I don't know how this color coming out. Let me see. I don't know. I don't think I want to finish, y'all. I don't know if I want to finish this. Cause I'm feeling a little, you know, a little orangey. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm gonna put some little highlight on my cheek and just kind of keep it natural. Cause after I turn off this camera, sisters and brothers, I am getting ready to go get me some Popeye's chicken. That's probably why this happened, because I keep eating all that fried food. Going to get me some chicken and then come on back and do some writing, catch me a series or something. I don't even know, but whatever. Yeah, I'm done for the day. But that's it. I didn't even do no full face. Y'all forgive me because I'm not no makeup person. I don't know what I'm doing over here. I just do like the little basic stuff. Alright, but yeah, that's my style story, my life lesson today. I'm going to be sharing some more curated pictures of things that I've done in the past on my website. Check me out, www.thejonesgirl.com. Make sure that you share, if you would like, be so kind, you know, share the video, share my website, and be a part of my mailing list. I'm not crazy to bog your email down with like crazy senseless things, so I try to make sure that when I do email people, it's something that I really want to get to you. So make sure you sign up for that email list for any other new alerts, and when the book comes out, because I have some really interesting stories that's coming out in that book, so you don't want to miss that. All right, bye y'all.